everybody, and welcome to this playthrough for Pro Division in the Winter Major Tournament. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. You can become a patron and get the text guides. And those text guides will definitely be something that you do get an advantage for over your opponent going forward. In the end, it's going to be a super tough tournament, this one, or at least it's going to be much tougher than what we have experienced lately. So make sure that you focus on every adjustment, and in this playthrough you will going to see a total score of minus 15 when it comes to the drops, but there is definitely more to go with. There is a little twist when it comes to hole number 6, where I'm actually for the first time ever using a shot that I have in a different division just to prove a point. So in the end, hope you enjoyed the video, and let's go with hole number 1. So for hole number 1, we're going to play on the left hand side here in Pro. We're going to play with 6 bars of topspin if possible, otherwise as much as you possible can. Use as much left spin as possible as well. Then you adjust maximum distance plus 10, push up your target into max, half a ball of curl to the left, and a little bit of overpower. A lot of things to think about there for the drives. I'm gonna take it just slowly here before we look at second shot. First, we do go with 4.5 bar topspin minimum. If you do have 6 bars, you use 6 bars. If you don't, then you use the 4.5 bars. Then after that, you apply as much left spin possible. You adjust maximum plus 10, and then you push up your target into max, go with a teeny tiny bit of overpower and half a ball of curl to the left. That's going to leave you up to play with a Grizzly or, B-52 or Goliath from distance. And here we do want to try to catch this little roll that we do have there on the green. And I would say like a Grizzly here is definitely the better option than the Goliath, at least as a start. Reason for being that is because of the very good ball guideline it has in level 7+. Obviously, if you have a lower level Grizzly, you do your best and try your best with that one instead, or you pick the Goliath. Minus 20%, which means that this one is an uphill adjustment, and we were very close to minimum distance, and that is what we're playing. And it's always nice to start off with a little boom here. So left side on hole number 1 is my suggestion. For hole number 2, we're going to play with a sniper, and we're going to play that one just by bouncing on the fairway. We're going to start by playing with 4.5 bar backspin, and then we set 4 bar side spin to the right as well. Ball guideline to the hole. Once that is done, we go then to 4.5 bar backspin, and we go with 5.5 bar side spin to the right. Obviously, you can try to replicate the ball guideline otherwise as it is, but if you do want to be completely accurate, then you do it in that structure. Medium distance with a 20% over adjustment, which is going to be 8 rings in this scenario. We adjust, we take our shot, and the ball bounces on the fairway, and we roll this ball in on the left corner of the hole, which is very, very nice. And we just gonna take this one just again to just understand the structure. Why do I first add one type of spin and then change to another? The reason I do that is because I do want to find the point where the ball guideline is through the hole. That is so important many of the time, especially when we don't really have any other firm like adjustment reference, like white ring against this and that, and blue ring against this and that, and then we need to find something else. So that's why we start with that. Then once we find the position, we adjust the spin and change them to 4.5 bar backspin, 5.5 bar side spin to the right. We adjust, we take our shot, and we get it in the hole. Nice one here for hole number 2. So for hole number 3, we're going to come to the hardest hole in the whole tournament, in my opinion. We're going to start by using a berserker ball. And the berserker ball I want us to use because we do want to have distance for the second shot. Max top spin and 4.5 bar left spin, trying to just be centered on the fairway while making your adjustment. Trying to get the ball to bounce over the rough and the rough and the snow, but it's the same thing. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. The thing that we need to have in mind here though, we have a tailwind, so we can technically go full blast trying out the power slice, or maybe just go with a max overpower shot. The risk that we do take with a shot like that is that we put the rough and the sand in play big time. And you know, obviously, if that's going to be the case, then we might need to, you know, give it a proper thought before we are just opting in and go full blast. Second shot here for us is going to be with the horizon. Doesn't matter for me what type of level you have on the horizon. I do think though that this is going to be a more, you know, a consistent way to play. You don't have to go with max overpower here, even though going with max overpower you can definitely try to get very close to the green and therefore make an easier wedge. 10% over adjustment for the second shot, and the only thing that I'm thinking about there is to get as close to the green as possible. Once coming to the third shot, we're gonna play with a wedge, and now we're going to be very close to max distance. So it's very important that you do know your adjustment with your wedge. So this is going to be a shot that players and people will miss. And you know, in this scenario, I played the wedge 1-to-1 with an Endbringer level 5. That's not going to be applicable, obviously, on all the wedges. But I think with an Endbringer in this level, like all from level 4 to level 6, I think you should definitely be able to play a 1-to-1 from this position. But it might be changing depending on, it will be changing if you get a longer second shot or a shorter second shot. So there's a lot of variables to have in mind when it comes to hole number 3. To just mention once again with the drive, the thing that I meant with going aggressive. Like if you manage to go aggressive and you manage to land further down on the fairway, you're going to have an easier time obviously to get closer to the green. That's a fact. But we have rough left, we have rough right, we have sand right. So if you get in there in any form, you will not be able to reach for the green too. That's not a possibility. So think about it. If you do want to go aggressive, you go aggressive. If you don't want to go aggressive, you lay up, and you have to be prepared of having a wedge from distance. For hole number 4, we're going to play with a long iron, and it doesn't have to be the Goliath, but Goliath is my go-to long iron, so that's why I'm going to play with that one. Play with a Quasar or with a Katana. We do want to reduce the wind a little bit, and we also want to be able to use a little bit of side spin. Half a bar of top spin and 2 bars of side spin to the left, and we're looking for the red ring being just by the bunker edge there with the ball guideline pointing straight at the hole. We're going to adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment here. So max plus 10, and then we take our shot without any curl obviously and without any overpower or underpower. Coming in with a very nice speed, but maybe a little bit too short here. So the thing that I would like us to apply is same position with our rings. Then we do have like a little bit more than half a bar of top spin combined with 2.5 bar side spin to the right, and I do believe we're gonna be super duper close if not getting it in the hole. So for hole number 5, we're going to play with a ball that gives us a lot of side spin. I would say absolute minimum side spin too, because we do not want to go with as much curl. We're going to play from maximum distance with our Katana. So maximum distance with a 5% over adjustment, half a ball of curl to the right, and then we're going to take our shot. So as much side spin to the right possible. I'm using 4.5 bar topspin with my driver. The reason I use 4.5 bar topspin only is because I want to apply the topspin that is possible to use for an extra mile below level 8, because level 7, 6, 5 does not have more than 4.5 bar topspin. So please have that in mind and do not focus that much on that driver. Using a power 1 ball like the Quasar will require more curl. Have that in mind. So Katana if you can, otherwise a Quasar. For those as well that was focused on the adjustment, you notice I played max plus 10. So change that, so disregard the video, focus on the info box. we should be playing max +5. Now for the second shot, I want us to play with the Grizzly if possible. You know, this because we do have a very good ball guideline with the Grizzly. But if we do have a Grizzly in level 6 or below, I would play with the Goliath, as the Goliath has the topspin that is needed. Now I do under adjust my shot. In this case, I do over adjust my shot big time here, which means that a great shot to the right actually makes this ball go in the hole. But the trick here though is to go for the rough bump. It's very, very important, because I think that's going to be the absolute best way for us to making an eagle from distance. You know, it's always lovely to get a boom. Okay, for hole number 6, before we start, I want to make sure that we are all on the same page. I'm using the second shot as in a different way. I'm using the second shot that we do have from the expert playthrough, and the reason I'm using that type of shot is because I do want to be able to explain why I would like us to play with a power 3 ball. So just wanted to have that said before we start. So let's check out the drive. First and foremost, we use 6 bars of topspin, so it doesn't have to be an extra mile, it doesn't have to be Thor's hammer or an apocalypse, but 6 bars topspin is definitely something that we do want to have. We want to play with a power 3 ball here, and we want to play with as much side spin to the left possible. Once we have made our adjustment, we push up our target into max. That applies also with a power 3 ball. Now I'm using almost 1 ball of curl to the left, because that's the maximum I have with an extra mile. That's the same that I want you to use if you play with an apocalypse in some sort. Then you will get your ball nicely to the fairway. But now we come into a very, very bad situation here. The reason we do that is because we have a power 2 ball, and we do not really have that much distance when it comes to playing with a sniper level 9. So the thing that you can do is different things. One, if you do play with a power 3 ball, you can get the distance as shown here on this video. We're gonna take that one quick again. You see the distance that we're getting? That is possible to get and to go over the rough, or to rough bump it towards green in the way that you do want to do. Or you bounce before the rough and bounce over and get it to the green. And that's what you're going to have to do when it comes to a katana, that you bounce over the rough and get it to green and take away the albatross opportunity. But choosing a sniper with a power 3 ball of some sort, you're gonna have a nice chance for an albatross like this, just that the wind is going to be more towards crosswind, left to right, instead of the tailwind that we're having here, as is the expert wind. You can also do a different type of way, which means that you go with a big dog or a cataclysm, then you can play with a power 2 ball nonetheless, and you're going to be able to approach the pin nicely. So in the end, that was the idea with that. Hope you could follow. Hard to cover everything for hole number 6, and we might see a breakdown video coming up later on. Tough par 5 though, tough. So the eagle is our focus, but obviously if we can get ourselves an albatross opportunity, I at least wanted to address that in this playthrough. For hole number 7, we are going to start by looking at it and being a bit tempted to approach a shot where we go on the right and bounce over the rough and try to get to green in 1. I do feel that players playing with a snow globe and play with an apocalypse level 6+, I do think that's going to actually be a possibility. Otherwise, we play with the quarterback 5 backspin, and then as much side spin to the right possible. I'm looking for the white ring to be just by the rough line. I mean the top of the white ring be just by the rough line. And then we adjust maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment to get the elevation correct. We're going to bounce on the fairway, and you can see that we just lay this one up close to the rough there to give ourselves a consistent drive. 271 yards. Second shot is going to be a rough bump, and it's going to be massively downhill, but do not be afraid of this shot, because it is, in my opinion, especially that we do have, you know, a little tailwind as well. I think this is going to be the absolute best option to making an eagle from distance. So, you know, position wise you can do a different type of positions, but I'm looking at my red ring there to be just by the top edge of the rough. That means that I'm going to give myself room to hit great left, great right, and also under adjust my shot, and and over adjust my shot for that matter, and still hit the rough. Bounce there in the rough, and we just missed that one, or not just, but we still missed that one to the right, which means that the shot is a little bit over adjustment, and then it's all about finding correct club range there. So mix there a little bit, take the shot here, tweak it, so you get it correct, because this one, I do feel that we're going to drop this one a lot in the tournament. For hole number 8, which is the final par 3 in this playthrough for Pro Division, we're going to play this one with a sniper, and we're going to look to get a backspin situation that is going to be 4.5 bar and 3 bar side spin to the left. And the thing here that I do make as a mistake is that I play this one maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. It should be medium distance, and that's the thing. So I'm looking for the blue ring to the left by the rough line with approximately 2/3 of the blue ring to the right inside the rough. But the most important part here, in my opinion, is to focus on the ball guideline. Set up the spin. Once again, 4.5 bar backspin, and then 3 bars side spin to the left. And as you can see, we do miss to the left and a little bit short. So once again, medium distance instead of maximum distance. That's the difference of approximately 1 to 1.5 ring. And that is very important that we do not over adjust that much. And then obviously you can remove a little bit of backspin there, but it all depends on what type of wind strength you're going to have if you're gonna be close. Do you need to play with a katana? No, but I would suggest to play with at least a wind 2 ball. As for when you adjust down into the sand, you do want to adjust down as little as possible, because that's going to help of not losing as much distance when taking the shot. So for hole number 9, we're going to play with the big topper here. It's top spin, top spin, top spin. That's what I'm looking for. Use as much top spin as possible, a red ring by the rough line, and we want to make sure that the ball guideline is showing clearly that it goes over the rough and that we're going to gain a lot of distance. You can play with a katana ball, you can play with a titan ball. I'm gonna go into a bit more why you can play with 2 different type of power balls here on this one, even though it's a par 5. 10% over adjustment with max distance as club range, and then we're going to adjust. We're going to take our shot. We're not gonna push up, we're not gonna pull back anything whatsoever, just a normal shot. Bounce on the fairway over to the other side there. I'm gonna be nice and easy positioned for the second shot. Second shot, I want you to play with the horizon, and I want you to play with the horizon even though you have it in a very low level. Why? It's because if we do go short with our drive, we do need a lot of topspin to get that ball to green. But now, obviously, as you can see, we do not really need that much topspin to get to green, as we can actually go directly over by using a limited amount of overpower. So, again, if we do want to, we can play with over the rough there, as we do have tailwind in our back. But if we go short, we might make a bad drive and stuff like that. Then we have to bounce before the rough, and then we need a lot of topspin. And that shot can be played with whatever is a katana ball or a titan ball. But if you're going to have at least a tiny chance to go directly over as we did now, you need a power 3 ball. 10% over adjustment for the second shot. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, this playthrough for Pro Division in the Winter Major Tournament. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And please make sure that you do comment in the comment section below if you do have any questions. I will be happy to help. This is going to be a much tougher tournament than we are used to, so every drop is super valuable. And I give you a lot of different opportunities and summoning all together. We do have a -15 here for 9 holes, and that's going to go a long way. Once again, everyone, thank you so much and good luck in the tournament.